Smoke has broken into the studio.
Just checking. You just checking to make sure everybody's union labor. Is that what's? Are you?
Smoke's just going to be the unofficial mascot.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of mascots, we've officially gotten a request for merch for Morbid Mondays.
That more tentacles were requested?
More tentacles. It's Joseph, so, I mean, shout out, buddy. You're my kind of people. It's more tentacles. Anyway, so now that we've piddled away the first 10 minutes of this broadcast, hi, welcome back to Morbid Mondays. It's my turn. And again, as per all of my previous ones, I'm so sorry. Please prepare yourself for the chaos that is my last 2 weeks. So it was supposed to be my turn to present last week, but I had an ear infection. I had if it's possible to get a triple ear infection, that's what I had.
Yikes.
So I started with a very different subject and then was presented kind of accidentally with this one. And then 2 more were given to me. Anyway, so I now have an ongoing list of subjects to do for Morbid Monday. So my next 3 are all lined up and ready to go.
Nice.
Well, okay, they're not ready to go. I actually have to do the research and stuff on them. But this one was my snap decision yesterday. And I told you while we were, setting up the file for this to call it the Keeper of the Poisons.
Yeah.
Correct? So I have actually cracked a joke about this before a couple of times now. But so I'm just gonna come right out and say it. It's Aqua Tofana today.
I was hoping.
Yeah.
I was hoping because I don't know. We've talked about this before with European stuff from the Renaissance period or even a little bit later.
This is technically the Baroque period, but go on.
I was Baroque at one point.
Judge, I'm
still
Baroque.
Yeah. There's it's hard to suss out what's real and what's not.
Yes.
There's a lot of gossip column writing.
Oh my God, it's very Bridgerton.
Yeah.
Something will begin with a grain of truth and then just kind of be blown out of proportion or blown into mythic proportion, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
Because when I went down the rabbit hole trying to do my research for this, because I was made aware of the story of Aqua Tofana several years ago, actually, by a YouTuber that I follow, who also does true crime and morbid history podcasts, Bailey Sarian.
Yeah,
she's a lot of fun. I love her. She's so much fun. So if you listen, if anybody out there listening to this doesn't already follow her, Smoke is losing her mind.
She's doing fucking flips and shit.
She's doing the social flop. She grabs the mic. I want to be included.
I got something to say.
And it is meow.
The price of these mice is too damn high.
He's absconding with the cat. So anyway, for anybody that doesn't already listen to Bailey Sarian, please go seek her out. She's so much fun. And to be perfectly honest, she's one of my favorite internet people. You'll like her, probably. If you tolerate me, you'll like her, I guess I should say. So anyway.
And Unhinged History.
Yes.
Unhinged History I just recently found and I commented on one of their videos and oh, thanks. Because they were talking about boats.
Uh-huh.
And they were whatever a draft is. And I was it's the depth of the ship. It's the how far it goes in the water. And they were oh, thanks. And I was oh, shit, that was fast.
Somebody on their social media team is paying attention. So anyway, Bailey did a whole bit on Aqua Tofana. She did an entire episode on it, and then it just kind of became a running gag. And then they did I want to say she did a cosmetics collab with someone, and her collection was Aqua Tofana.
That's terrifying.
It was amazing. I've rarely been more proud of someone that I don't know personally.
Yeah. Yeah, you did that. What you love to see, people who you like from.
I love to see people succeed, just in general. I think that's probably one of my toxic traits is that I'm aggressively supportive.
You're the you're the, you're the pop fan in like the K-pop, J-pop arena with the two lights doing all the runway dances, you know?
I'm leading the fan chants. No, that's fucking accurate. I absolutely did. The Stray Kids concert that I went to, I got gifted tickets and like we made friends. All right. So, rather than get off on another tangent, which I'm sure is going to happen because, ladies and gentlemen, when I tell you that I have 1, 2, 3 full pages of notes today. 1, 2 pages, 3 pages of notes. And it's not just because my handwriting is awful and great, and I just smacked the mic again. Slap! Get out of my face. Anyway. All right, so cast your mind back to the early 1600s, Italy, or the various states and regions and principalities and tiny kingdoms that made up what will become Italy in 1852 or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, it's like...
I wrote it down. 1870. I found it.
Yeah, there we go.
But anyway, so our story today is actually set 100 plus years post Borgia's. So, like, you know, don't expect Juan or Cesare or Lucrezia to pop up here. No. They're long dead. Unfortunate. I really could do an entire episode on the Borgias. Italy in the 1600s is not Italy as we would recognize it today. It's a series of smaller kingdoms, like country states. Like there's a lot happening, but smack in the middle of it is Rome. As per usual, Rome is the center of attention. She is that girl.
Yeah.
And we are at the end of the Renaissance era, which is like, you know, the time period that pretty much everyone is the most familiar with, especially in history, because it gets the most attention because, I mean, you've got various enlightenments, like there's art galore.
Yeah, it's got the most landmark power for sure. Statues, art.
Yeah, everything. And not to mention like the economic boom that happened because like countries started opening up for trade. Do you think Rome is its own Roman Empire?
Oh, if they thought about it like that, I'm sure they did. They wrote about it constantly about how like a big part of their like non-official legal system had to do with like the way the ancestors would have done it. They had like this constant thought about this.
I went looking into like ancient Roman law while I was doing my research for this, and like I got full on pissed off at some of these things. 'Cause like what the absolute fuck? For example, and this will tie into the story, and we can do a callback to this later, but like adultery wasn't adultery for dudes.
That's
like
right. Yeah.
Adultery as we understand it is, you know, you have sex or otherwise are intimate with someone outside of your legal spouse.
Yeah.
And like men could fuck around with anybody except another married woman, and then it was adultery, and then it was bad.
And they still did it anyways.
But like, if a woman so much as like spoke to someone in a manner that could be considered suggestive and or lurid, she could literally be put to death by her husband for adultery.
But
not just divorced, but straight up killed.
Though it does seem like in most cases there was just a divorce. Julius Caesar left his wife for that reason.
Yeah.
There was a rumor about her like being having an infidelity, and he basically said like, I don't even think you did it, but the fact that people thought you might have, because as Caesar, he's got to be above board at all times, or at least he thought he needed to be. That's why he left his first wife, was like essentially because people thought he might be cheating.
Bro, it's
she might be cheating.
It's infuriating.
Yeah.
And like
take a look at Athens sometime if you really want to be.
No.
Yeah, like oddly Rome was more free than some of the places around it.
Rome would later become more free. Like there were laws, like so there at one point was a hand-to-hand law in marriage where like basically the ownership of a woman passed directly from her father to her husband.
Yep.
Bitch.
But that's the thing with like, you know, when your empire lasts 1,000 years, it's like you have to differentiate between like the early, like
Yeah.
Etruscan Rome, and
Yeah,
then like all the way into
we're talking about like 300 AD versus 562 AD.
Yeah, like way down the line.
That was terribly specific.
This one year, the first Roman feminist came to light. No,
that fucking year.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that we will come back to that because, like I said, I looked up like Roman marriage, the evolution of the laws of marriage within Rome.
Oh, okay.
Because I was like, what the fuck? This can't be. Anyway, I'm jumping ahead of myself, and I'm okay. This particular episode, my research on this confounded me a bit because it's one of those stories that I know for a fact had seeds of truth, and I can tell you that at least part of it is true, and the rest of it is both folklore, conjecture, and myth. And the part of that really like flabbered my gasps was because it branches off so many times to so many different versions of it that it fucked around with like dates and laws. The reason that I was looking up various laws for X time period, and I wound up in ancient Rome at one point, and then that just kind of rabbit holed, but as it does, is because the times kept changing.
Oh, okay.
Like the years. Like I knew I had like 3 solid dates that I knew for sure. And then like at the end of the story, I took some notes on that because it like this story is kind of supposed to end in 1651. But there are kind of quote unquote eyewitness accounts. So there are quote unquote eyewitness accounts of this as late as like 1690 and like 1701.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and which puts our main character at like 110 years old, so that can't be true.
Yeah, not yeah.
So
highly unlikely. Let's say
I had a hell of a time like trying to find the median ground that seemed the most historically accurate versus the most fantastic version of this tale, which I can also tell you because that was fun. Today's main character, that girl, as you will, is Julia Tofana.
Yeah. So we're Aqua Tofana. So when you
Lock
say
the fuck in, Catherine, come on. Seriously.
So Aqua, when you say sightings, you mean of the person that made Aqua Tofana?
So when I say eyewitness accounts, it is people that claim to have either met Julia or worked with Julia or worked with someone within her like inner ring of people. Our story actually begins, as I quote Disney, with Stefania Diamato. Let's fucking set the tone here. So 1600s Italy is a patchwork puzzle of different regions, but the common theme in all of these various regions that will become Italy in 200 years is there's a sort of rigid kind of caste and class system. Like if you are noble, if you're rich, you're noble, and if you're not noble or rich, you are peasantry.
Yeah, sure.
Like dirt poor.
You're either like a landowner, a large landowner, you're not, right?
Yeah, and like there is a bit of a merchant class, but for the most part, it's very you are or you aren't.
Yeah, sure.
And the common thread there is that like women kind of just don't have rights. Like we spoke about it earlier. Like, you know, you passed from your father's hand into your husband's hand, and you were either sold off or auctioned to the highest bidder for your husband, or whatever was politically or monetarily gainful for your family is who you were given to. Very few women had choices on who they married, which is fucking sad.
Yeah, that's
and like
the dowry system.
Mm-hmm.
That I hear people every once in a while be like, well, the point of it was what, and they kind of like explain it away. I'm like, it doesn't matter, because if you fall in love with a person who doesn't have a lot of physical wealth,
you're doomed.
Yeah, then
Like
and
it's
your dad just goes no.
yeah, unless your father is one of the rare people who takes your feelings and or wants into account, it ain't happening.
Yeah, which seems, as far as I can understand it anyway, seems to be a kind of a thing with the true middle class
Mm-hmm.
of like lower class merchants. So they're like they
there
have
was 3
money,
tiers
but
of
they're
merchants.
yeah, but they're kind of on the lower thing. Because I've read a couple of diaries from like there's a few I've got it in the living room there. I've got one from a guy named Cellini, I think is his name,
Mm-hmm.
but he's kind of in that vein. He's like lower nobility, like lower wealth, and they have a little more freedom because they're not worried about like alliances.
Well, that and to be in the middle and the lower end of the merchant class, you have the ability to like marry up or marry down, and for whatever reason, that seemed to be like the sweet spot for like finding love matches.
Yeah,
Because like if your mercantile father, like if you just so happen to fall for someone of a higher kind of earning range, tax bracket, what do I say here?
yeah,
How do I phrase this? But if you happen to fall for someone higher, your father could like increase your dowry
yeah,
and get you there. Or if you fell for someone lower, your family would kind of absorb that person. Like rather than the bride being given to the groom's family, the groom would kind of just be like, and now you live with us.
yeah.
And it like that seemed to be the sweet spot.
Right. It's just poor enough for things not to matter as much.
Bingo.
Yeah, like that's that. What was that? There was that English saying that was like, she's lamenting the freedom of choice of the poor.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a noble woman talking, and she's like because the aristocracy don't marry for love, they marry for power.
Yeah.
And the poor marry for love. You know, it's like because they don't. It doesn't matter. There's
Everybody's
no titles,
poor.
There's no yeah.
So it's a mess, especially if you're female. And I've noticed that like a lot of the stories that I seem to be attracted to and or to cleave onto is the injustice and justice of women. But you know,
well,
such is the sorrow of my gender, I guess.
To be fair, you are more than 50% of all history.
Ooh, that's right. I can tie this shit in. Watch me go. Oh, be afraid. Let me just like jump down to the bottom page of my notes here. All right, so let's I've put you in Italy or what will become Italy. Let me give you some like regional stuff. So let's go to Palermo, which is kind of a border village town like right by Sicily.
Yeah. Very famous for its like vineyards and vacation spots.
'Tis very beautiful. And we will give you a supporting character of lady, or I guess I should say Donna, Tofania Diamato, who is giving birth to what will be our main character, right? She gives birth to a daughter, Julia, and she raises her, and there's not a whole lot of information on Julia's early life, because once again, this is the 1600s, and she's a woman. But Tofania, much like her mother before her, is one of those women that's kind of, I don't want to call her an apothecary because that like, you know, brings to mind pharmaceuticals and doctors and medicine and all that. Right. But she's an herbalist, and she's kind of well known for giving you tinctures and remedies and herbs and, you know, things. And when in July of 1633, Tofania is going to get in some hella trouble because she's going to be accused, tried, and convicted of poisoning her husband.
The plot thickens.
Which, I mean, the thick plottins.
Yeah, the thick plottins.
It may or may not be true. Nobody's really sure. I'm going to lean into it being true because of what Julia will go on to do. And I'm going to say that she probably unalived him for a reason.
Ah, okay.
But whatever the case, Tofania is executed. And R.I.P. And her daughter Julia fucking escapes. Escape. She is 13 and out.
Nice.
Deuces, you killed my mom, I'm leaving.
Yeah, no shit.
No.
Before I'm next and as a accomplice or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so she escapes all the way to Rome. And then we kind of lose her for a while. Like, because, like, she doesn't pop back up until she's a grown-ass woman running a whole-ass business and has now been married twice.
Oh, shit.
She, like, I think she's on husband number 2 now. And she has, reports vary between having 2 children and 4 children, but we do know that she had a daughter. And it could have been her biological daughter or it could have been her stepdaughter. Not really sure.
Yeah, sure, okay.
But she and her daughter kind of go into business in Rome, and they are running a sort of cosmetics and remedies shop, which indicates that her mother passed her, like, knowledge of stuff. And this is a very nebulous kind of stuff.
Yeah,
like
sure.
Tinctures and remedies and herbalists and all of that jazz onto her daughter, because she becomes quite famous for her remedies and makeup and perfumes and all of that stuff. Like, she's a public figure in Rome.
Nice. Okay. This is in the days of, like, apothecary, like you said, not really apothecary, but like herbalist mixtures of like teeth whitening and skin whitening. And
yeah,
like when you say cosmetics, you mean like this stuff that, like, I've read a couple of these like manuals where it has like, it's like mother of pearl and crushed walnut shell and a little bit of arsenic or whatever. Yeah. Like there's always some deadly thing in it, but sometimes they're like cough drops.
Yeah.
Nostradamus had one for like cough drops that were like rose hips and citron and stuff, which were like
legit
and
marshmallow
thing.
root. Marshmallow root was also,
and I was like, yeah, those are all still used in herbalist things for
literally. Also,
purpose.
like for our listeners, if you ever have a sore throat and you need like you need relief right the fuck now, eat a marshmallow. I'm not even joking.
Really,
eat a marshmallow, and then like take like a tablespoon of honey and a teaspoon of cinnamon and mix that shit together and like slam it.
All right. I will try that.
Literally choir tricks. Had to sing through laryngitis. That was not fun. Anyway, I am derailing myself. So it's 1633. You know what else happened in Rome in 1633?
What's that?
Galileo got grounded forever.
That is a very interesting way to state
house arrest.
House arrest for espousing non-heliocentric theory. For trying to prove Copernicus was correct.
Literally, they put his ass on trial, and he said, "No, I won't recant." Man, they said, "Fine, you're grounded forever.
Yeah,
can't ever leave your house."
People were like, "We'll kill you," and he was like, "No, I'm literally Galileo." Yeah, like that's quite famous, actually. Yeah.
I thought that was fun while I was looking up like shit that was going down in Rome in 1633, and it was like in Galileo, and I was like, "Oh hey,
nice."
This was when he got grounded. So Galileo is like decidedly not running around at this point. Like maybe he's running around his own courtyard. He's probably bored out of his mind. I've mentioned that Julia's mother was tried and convicted for poisoning her husband. And it is suspected that she, I mean, obviously by her name, Tefania.
Yeah.
Not only, and it was also, that was a common thing, was for daughters to take their mother's first name as kind of their like middle/last name.
Okay.
At that point, which explains why we have Julia Tefana. Get this, Julia's daughter's, like, the daughter that keeps getting mentioned that comes up again and again in the story is Geronima. You have the best name. Geronima. There's a little bit of, like, arguing and conjecture on her name because I've seen it spelled several different ways, and I presume that's got something to do with, like, translation between, old Latin. Well, I guess it wouldn't be Latin at that point. It would be like early Italian.
But it's like an archaic form of it. Yeah, they would speak differently.
But the way that it's written in court documents, like the way she signed her name, is Geronima. And that's so badass to me.
Yeah.
Your name is Geronimo? That's awesome. Anyway.
Italian court. My name is Geronimo Lewis.
Geronima Spara.
Spara.
Spara. Okay. Like, I thought it was a typo at first. This was like Sparta. What?
Yeah.
No, Spara. But anyway, so yeah, they are established in Rome, and they have their little shop, and they're doing their thing, and then suddenly husbands start dropping like flies. Which, I mean, kind of tracks for the era, not area, era. I'm gonna hit you. Because, correct me if I'm wrong here, or maybe this is my own personal, association, but I very much associate, early Italy with poisons.
So you and literally everyone. And so, and I say
and I'm not sure if that's just because of, propaganda, or if that's just because...
So, strangely enough, when you look at stuff, right? If you're in England and you're just like... So, the English were very worried about Italians.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were worried about, when somebody married an Italian, they came in, they were like, oh, they're going to poison somebody.
Yeah.
And the Italians are very worried about the Spanish.
Yeah.
And so what it is it's like, yeah, who have you fought recently? So, for instance, you hear the same thing in England about the French. And you hear the same thing. The French are very worried about Italians and English. And the reason why is who are your enemies, right? So in Italy, Spain, as you mentioned before, has some inroads.
Yes.
They're very heavily politically involved. At one point, there's the anti-pope movement, which is still kind of a thing. There's still a secondary guy that's
Didn't we wind up with 2 popes at one point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so, that's that thing. That's the, it was kind of like a reformist, let's say a conservative movement from Spain, in the, time of the Italian Renaissance. But, so they're worried, it's who in your time period is known as, roguish. So for the Italians, sometimes it's the Spanish, because there's they've got beef with Spanish from time to time, and then there's the Reconquista movement, and and then every once in a while people would be like, oh, it's the Turks, it'll be whatever, whoever you're in.
Leave Turkey alone.
Well, they weren't leaving anybody else alone.
Oh.
So, you remember?
Yeah.
It's Istanbul, not Constantinople.
It's gonna be stuck in my head all day now.
Nobody was leaving anyone alone for a long time, you know?
Yeah, I know.
Then you have also, in our generation, William Shakespeare.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of his stuff takes place in Fair Verona, right?
Yeah.
A story about 2 kids that drank a bunch of poison and stabbed themselves. So that's a whole thing, is that part of our association with them and poison really comes out of art.
Yeah.
It's not so much propaganda as it is there was a super intriguing time period where people were offing each other left and right.
Well, I also mention it because there comes a point where poison is so common, and it is socially commented upon that if your husband is cruel to you, or if your husband is unkind or unjust, that you could in fact procure some inheritance powder and be rid of the problem.
Inheritance powder?
Inheritance powder. Excellent
fucking name.
I'm gentlemen, please, can we, okay, let me, hang on. Let me recenter myself here, because I need to know how these Roman bros were so full of themselves that there was a common joke about wives poisoning their husbands to be rid of them, to solve the problem of cruelty. And these dudes were so secure in themselves that, nah, my wife won't do that to me.
So I wonder, here's a little bit of modern commentary, right? So where I'm from in the deep South, our version of that is you're going to get the hot grease.
Yeah.
You've heard that because you've lived in Florida and all that, and Georgia and around all those areas. Is that the joke is if you mistreat your wife, you're going to wake up, she's going to fucking throw hot grease on you. That's said as a joke, but it's more like a warning to young men and other men of hey, act right. You know what I mean?
It blows my mind, because this was a common joke. I found this and was kind of shook about it, because, I always associated poisons in the shadows and done in secret, and nobody really talks about it. But nah, this was a joke.
Yeah.
That was told in social circles. like a mother to a daughter would be like, if your husband doesn't treat you well, there's always inheritance powder. But, Italian instead of English.
Yeah.
So yeah, inheritance powder is a thing. Like, and jokes are commonly made, and it's kind of, I don't want to say socially acceptable because it's never socially acceptable to kill someone. Gads. But like it came up in my research that it was, sort of, it was joked about, it was talked about, and this was a time period where women were literally objects. Like, you had no power, you had no say in who you married, you had no power within your marriage. Like, you were literally chattel.
Yeah.
But like, your path to freedom was like you could bide your time and wait to inherit your husband's entire estate, or you could hurry things along.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
So was divorce was not a thing.
So because it was so heavily Catholic, divorce had to have very specific grounds. We've now spoken a little bit about the social structures and like how women basically didn't have much of a choice. You kind of had to hope and pray that your husband was one of the good ones or ignored you, because your alternative was an abusive asshole that you couldn't get away from. And you just kind of had to like wait for him to die in battle, or hope that real rich lordly diet got him, and like either like, cholesterol or gout took him out.
Yeah.
And you just kind of had to hope. But for those in the know, there was another solution. We've already talked about inheritance power. Power. Powder. There's a D in there. There was also aqua tofana. But you really had to be in the know and have connections. It was something that was whispered about on the kind of flip side of women's circles, social circles. It's purportedly, if you heard about it, you heard that it was colorless, tasteless, and odorless. It is an alchemical miracle poison. A few too many drops, could be deadly instantly. But a few drops stretched over a couple of weeks, a couple of months, would render its target bedridden and just slowly dying, but still conscious and competent enough to get their affairs in order. And, play a role and play your cards right. Basically, you are the recipient of your husband's everything. And you are free. And it's sad that is the social goal, is to be a widow.
Yeah, that's pretty dire.
Yeah.
That's pretty dire.
Like, to be a widowed woman in this time period is as close to autonomy and financial freedom as you can get as a woman. So, if you are on the up and up in the social circles of Rome in 16, I don't know, let's say 1643. Let's just pick a 10-year time gap. Give her enough time to get established and stuff. If you are connected enough to hear the whispers of aqua tofana, and maybe you are approached by someone at the store, someone at a store, or maybe someone in your social circle that says, tell me your story. Tell me what's wrong. And you proceed to, hopefully, make friends with this person before you just trauma dump on them. What's that called now? Floodlighting?
Jesus Christ.
But hang on. Let me come at this from a different angle rather than like the person seeking the solution. Julia's had time at this point to set up her legitimate business and become not only well-renowned, but rather prosperous from her legit business, like doing various remedies and cosmetics, and that she's enough. She's prosperous and well known enough to have made colleagues now, and she has this inner ring of people that work for and with her. That like there's a jewelry maker, there's also a fortune teller that just kind of chills in the shop. And like she creates this ring, this network of women that work with and for her, and that are kind of within I guess the folklore, the myth of the tale, called the wise women.
Jeez.
It's like a network of fucking shadows, bro. And these wise women will kind of keep their ear to the ground for women of all walks of life, not just noble women, but like anyone who needs help, who is in dire straits. And they literally would vet these women, like do background checks.
Yeah, through the gossip ring,
to see if like their story, if their plight was legit. And like these women would go through like various checks through the circle to get to Julia. It's crazy. Like it's like I said, I'm not sure how much. I'm sure there was at least a seed of truth to this at some point. 1633. It's several hundred years later, so it's probably been, you know, gussied up a bit.
Yeah, probably. I was like the fortune teller in the shop feels very much like almost an association of like she's a witch, you know, like the other outcasts, you know. But
yeah,
maybe because that's the thing. Like outcasts have a tendency to stick together.
Yeah.
And
so, on the down low, these women would get vetted by the various ranks within Julia's wise women before they got to Julia. At which point, like, they would be given kind of a code phrase or like something to indicate that they were there for Aqua Tofana, as opposed to like, you know, Foundation. And it was usually something like, my mother suffers in her twilight years. I need something. I seek something to ease her passing.
Yeah, that's a good what's the word? Plausible deniability.
Yeah. And it, or like, you know, I'm kind of pulling that a little bit out of thin air versus like, you know, what it probably was.
Somebody come, hey, what you got in the back?
Like, I need to kill my husband.
Yeah.
He's a dick. Can you imagine? So Julia, they would be given this code phrase or this code word, and they would meet Julia, and Julia would be like, tell me your story. Tell me what's happening. Show me proof. Allegedly. And the woman would tell her story, or like show her bruises, or, you know, she would give her whatever it was that she sought for proof, or, you know, to contextualize why she was there. And then Julia would hand over this beautiful little glass vial, usually that had a saint on it, specifically Saint Nicholas.
A hell of a gift.
And she would inform them, you know, be patient. Like, don't off him all in one go, because that's just going to arouse suspicions. Bitch, we don't want to get caught.
Yeah.
But she would advise them like a drop in their soup, 2 drops in their soup a week later, 1 more drop a week later, and like it basically, they were instructed on how to slow poison their husbands.
Yeah.
Because, okay, are you ready? Are you ready for the alleged formula of this I was gonna say potion. Turn your pages to page 963. Snape, I am not.
I always felt like he kind of sounded like he was pinching his nose the whole time.
Well, can you imagine how much that dungeon would have stunk?
Oh my god!
Like it was kids. the potions dungeon.
Yeah, right. It's underground. It's filled full of smelly teenagers in bathrobes, and
then they're cooking on top of it. That place reeks. Anyway, so she basically instructs them on how to slow poison their husband, and so to give the husband not only the opportunity to suffer, presumably, but also to get his affairs in order and to make sure that the wife puts on a good show as the grieving, doting, loving wife who is trying to nurse her husband back to health. And oh no, he's dead. Oops. So this goes on for a while, and they are wildly successful. Like I said, husbands start dropping like flies.
Jeez.
And once again, this is the time period where it was joked about inheritance powder.
Yeah, which has got to be like powdered arsenic or something.
Oh yeah, I was going to tell you the composition of the poison itself. Belladonna, arsenic, and lead.
Yeah, that'll do it.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would kill you the arsenic anyways would kill you very fast if you did all at once. Belladonna, not so bad. It takes a lot of nightshade to kill somebody. It's currently in baby anti-gas medication. If you look at like a lot of your anti-gas drops for babies, if you turn around, it says ingredients belladonna.
Correct me if I'm wrong here, but isn't arsenic one of the nastier poisons to die from? Like, it's like super painful.
Yeah, yeah.
That's probably what the belladonna was for.
Maybe, yeah, so that you wouldn't like cramp. Because that's the painful cramps is what it's called. Yeah, and you start like having ulcers and shit from it.
Well, it was commented that aqua tofana was one of the beautiful deaths. Like, it's not like poison is commonly accepted as one of the nasty ways to go. Like, it's violent. There's vomiting and foaming at the mouth and bleeding of orifices and all of that jazz.
Yeah, the lead literally makes you go crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, like mercury and lead will really fuck up your cognition over a long period of time. And everybody, that's the weird thing. Everybody in that time period was fucking inundated with mercury. Like
and lead. Lead was in all of the cosmetics. But I was watching something recently that the lead the compound of lead that they were using, the white lead, isn't one of the ones that's deadly or even kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for here? Not noxious.
Like caustic.
Reactive.
Yeah.
Reactive on the skin. Like it was only a problem if inhaled.
Or like, I guess, drank.
Ingested, yeah.
Yeah.
But like using it as foundation or using it as
that's interesting because like fishing weights are like that. That's what's called galena lead, and galena lead is like unless you're fucking chewing on it and shit.
Yeah.
It's not really gonna do anything through your hand.
Well, I always wondered because like lead was one of those things that is present in old and ancient makeup all the time because it is used to even the skin tone and lighten the skin, and it's not reactive unless it's inhaled or ingested.
Nice.
No, and even then it's like weirdly inert in the powders that they used because they were loose powders, but they weren't like
yeah, they weren't like finely ground processed.
Yeah, not like the loose setting powder that we have now.
Yeah.
Like, I could eat Charlie's Angels a laser lock with that shit.
Yeah. Probably still also not super distilled or not distilled, smelted either. Like it's not, you know what I mean? If it's still in ground powder.
I just thought it was super interesting because, we're taught all of our lives that like the makeup was poison.
Yeah.
Which I mean, yes, but
it takes, that's what I learned about the like arsenic and stuff and lead and stuff, mercury specifically actually, is that a lot of skeletons and stuff when they do analysis of them, they have like 100 times the safe amount of lead, and it happens all the time because it's in everything. Mm-hmm. And so like apparently your body can take a lot of fucking mercury, which is crazy to me.
The aqueducts, the plumbing in Rome they used lead lined pipes.
Yeah.
So
but like you said, like in certain forms, it's not really that dangerous, but it has to be in certain. I remember like they did the same thing with sweet wine.
Yeah.
And they figured out real quick if you boil wine in lead, it makes it very sweet. It also kills you. So, and they figured this out.
So poisonous.
They figured it out pretty quickly. Like it doesn't take them long, and before they're like, "Oh, that's poison now." Okay.
So now that we've gone off on our little like poison
tale, but we were on subject.
I know. I'm so proud of us.
But, yeah, so that's cool. So belladonna,
arsenic, lead.
So slow, non-painful, because lead's not painful. It just causes cognition issues.
So it's said that the beginning symptoms of the aqua tofana, like when you got it and initially poisoned your target, the initial symptoms were dizziness, headache, and like extreme nausea. Like it would render it would bedridden, leave them bedridden very, very quickly. But when a doctor was brought in, like, because obviously, oh, I'm ill, I'm gonna get a doctor. Like, it's not like the U.S. medical system.
Yeah. A guy would physically come to your house and like
yeah,
look at you.
Like they would go get a doctor and he would be like, oh, okay, you have X stomach bug, or you're they would basically, it would get written off as a common malady.
Yeah,
like, you'll be fine in a couple of days, bro. Walk it off.
Yeah, because probably by the time the doctor shows up, the quick reaction of the arsenic has already kind of run its course, which is like a couple of hours. But like you said, you got to go get a doctor. It's not like there's one on the corner. You got to go find a guy and he's got to come to you.
What I will mention, I'm going to say it now because it comes up later, but like this aqua tofana apparently is just undetectable. Like, you cannot taste it, you cannot smell it, you cannot see it in food. Like, it just vanishes once you drip, drip, drip in somebody's wine or soup or on the bread or in the olive oil or whatever. Like, it's just gone. And then it doesn't show up in autopsy either. Which, I mean, this is also 17th century autopsy. So, they're cutting a body open and going, well, I don't see anything.
Right. They're looking for, recently I listened to an audiobook on poisoning. It's called The Royal Art of Poisoning. It's a great book. But they were looking a lot of the times for damage to the kidney or livers, but mostly
they were looking for like lesions in the stomach,
ulcers.
Too.
Yeah. They were looking for ulcers because of the, like, a lot of poisons would cause ulcers on contact. And that was a big thing, is that they would look for that, and then they would look for mostly for signs of either like bleeding, internal bleeding, or and that was pretty much it. Like, because that's what mercury does as well, is that people can like bleed internally from it. And so liver damage, kidney damage, and internal bleeding. And
so this is one of those reasons that I'm pretty sure that it probably started as a real thing and then just kind of like grew in mythic proportion, because this shit apparently is just invisible. Like, it's undetectable even in autopsy. It is the perfect poison.
Yeah, sure.
So, and apparently it has a 100% success rate. Like, once you have begun poisoning this person, they are going to die. Now, if that's like your 1 drop at the beginning of the week versus your 4 drops at the end of the I'm sick of this end of the week, they're gonna die.
Yeah.
Once it has begun, there is no stopping it. And this is important. Remember that.
Yeah. Really, dun dun dun.
Largely, that was my brain trying to go, what's next? Okay. Let me just read my notes to you really quick, because like this is some pretty good phrasing, I'm not gonna lie. As the story goes, this empire of murder for freedom came crashing down when one of the last customers panicked and purportedly slapped the poisoned soup from her husband's hands and fell to her knees, confessing everything. So one bitch got cold feet and ruined it for everybody.
I see.
And basically, rather than going through with her inevitable poisoning of her husband, because once again, 100% success rate, whether it's right now or in a couple of months, this hoe gonna die. So yeah, this woman basically goes through this entire vetting process. So, cause like it's not just like, oh, I need to off somebody, let me talk to somebody. No. You're looking at several weeks of going through various people before they decide to, we're gonna let you talk to the boss.
Yeah, okay.
So she has gone through a process to get what she wants. And at the last possible minute, when things become irrevocable, like the poison is in the soup. If he drinks that soup, he gonna die. She gets cold feet, slaps the soup out of his hand, falls to her knees, confesses everything. Girl, what are you doing? This is premeditated at this point. Like you planned to do this, and now you have a bout of regret. What did he do?
Yeah.
What did he do? Did he apologize? Like what?
Yeah, and you kind of wonder, like, was it super severe, or is it just like he cheated one time and she got real mad about it, like, and then was like, I regret this when she started going through it.
Okay, so here's my line of logic here, like to kind of, because like I get it, I understand as someone that is very familiar with history and like the lack of female autonomy within history. I understand if you are in an abusive situation and your only out is hoping that this dude cacks it on a battlefield somewhere or like chokes on a chicken wing. Like if you are hoping for this person's demise so that you can be free either to return to a convent or go back to your parents' house.
Yeah.
Because those are basically your only options, or prostitution, which I mean, hey, go off, sis, make that bag.
Yeah. But even then, like, you're not necessarily free from abuse.
Yeah.
You're probably actually more likely to be abused in
if you have been
areas.
Backed into a corner so far that is your only hope, that is your only escape. I get it.
Yeah.
I really do. Like I know it's a hot take, I know it's sad, I know it's bad, but I get it.
Yeah.
So putting that into the context of this girl went through whatever or I guess I should say woman. Don't know ages.
Yeah.
Went through whatever it is that he put her through that pushed her so far into that corner. And then you get cold feet? I'm so curious as to what happened. I'm so curious.
Yeah, but you probably never know, you know?
Like were you either just that pure of a soul that you could not end your own torment by taking another life? Or were you that petty?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I feel like that falls into like one of two categories.
Yeah,
like
either it was not that severe to begin with and you were kind of like petty about it and went way further than it needed to go. Or, yeah, the idea of killing someone really freaked you out. And once you got up to the plate,
you couldn't do it. Yeah. Like I want to know which category that was, because I mean, at either point though, like you've already done 90% of the work, girl.
Yeah. Like a lot of.
And the worst part is like this poor woman's fate, like she confesses, saves her husband's life from herself, obviously, but like, doesn't let him kill himself. And she still is arrested, tried, and convicted and killed.
Yeah, because you were going to. Isn't that weird? Like,
bruh. Like, girl, you were doomed.
The modern version, like our laws are so more specific now.
Cold feet at the very end and confessed everything.
If you had not said that, I was about to say there's a third option.
Oh.
Which is that people wanted to take her down anyways because the rumors had gotten around.
It's entirely possible.
Find someone to be kind of a patsy.
Well, like I said, like the men started dropping like flies, and there's a branch to this story, because that's what I'm going to call it now is a story where like a cardinal notices and like starts to launch into his own investigation. I didn't investigate all of that because I figured that was going to take me down a clerical route that I was just not prepared to go down.
Yeah.
Because yikes. Y'all thought the Spanish Inquisition was bad.
Yeah.
Boy, those Italians. Anyway, so mysterious woman confesses, and there's several different versions of it where like she confesses what she did or didn't do or almost did on her deathbed because like she's ill and dying or she's old. And anyway, there's a version of it where the woman confesses to a priest on her deathbed, and it is.
Now see that one, if that's the story, I'd be like, well, seems like Miss Stefana's getting kind of socially powerful and somebody's going to come after her a little bit.
So here's the thing. Within Julia's ring of wise women, she also had a priest. She had a priest working with her.
That's fucking wild.
Oh, that particular version of the story was fun. The reason that this today's presentation gave me so much grief was because there are so many different versions of it.
Yeah.
And I had to do my best to find what I would consider the most historically accurate.
Or like plausible.
Yeah, there we go. Plausible is
Yeah.
a much better word. Most historically plausible version of it. And I had to like kind of puzzle it together a little bit because there are so many different versions of it. And like I said, there's only like 3 solid dates. And then there's a whole bunch that have been added in with people trying to like place it within their lifetimes.
Yeah.
To I guess make themselves credible witnesses.
And I'm certain if there's a fear of poisoning, because I've seen this in other things.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the Royal Art of Poison. Again, great book. They talk about the paranoia where you have, let's say there's a confirmed poisoning,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then somebody else dies of what are basically natural causes in a world in which mercury is in a lot of stuff. And they're taking a medicine, it kills them. Like a medical treatment, they die from it, it's mercury. Then people go, like somebody drops dead suddenly because they died of a fucking stomach ulcer.
Oh, it was probably an aneurysm.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like, so some of the stuff that poison does to you just naturally occurs sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Ruptured spleen, ulcer bled out. Like you were in terrible stomach pain slowly and you slowly died from internal bleeding. Poison?
Yeah.
Maybe just an ulcer.
Tuberculosis also looks a lot like poison if you don't know what you're looking at.
Right, if you're not like trained. And that's like one of the things that like early autopsies start doing is that people get familiar with what tuberculosis and syphilis look like in a dead person.
Mm-hmm.
So like they can rule those out. But hemorrhaging of the brain kind of looks like lead sometimes. So like people freak and they attribute deaths to poison constantly in the rumor mill.
Oh yeah.
Like the doctors are like, it's probably not poison. And then everybody's like, was it poison? And like, it's once it hits the
and
rumor
the doctor's
mill,
like, no, it was grease.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like one of his close friends is like, no, he was an alcoholic. He drank constantly, you know.
Look at all the burst blood vessels on his face. Look at his nose.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
'Twas the wine.
You're talking about Lorenzo? Lorenzo's 350 pounds. Look at, you know, like and he drinks constantly. And also he's 50. He just died.
His knuckles are the size of bowling balls.
Yeah.
Come on.
But people, you know, in the public would go like, oh, he died so suddenly because they don't really know. And then
poison.
So I wonder how many of the deaths in her area or in the story were real.
Well, actually, there's a number that's been attributed to it. Depending on which version of the story that you go onto, but it is said that Julia herself confessed to 600.
God damn. Julia's not a poisoner. She's a fucking war criminal. That's crazy.
Julia out here saving lives.
600?
600. Yeah, so she is accredited in like fantastical history because how much of this is true and how much of it is just folklore at this point.
Let's say a sixth of it is
Yeah.
true.
She's attributed as being one of the most prolific serial killers. Which, I mean, and here's the thing. She, in one of the versions of the story, she says, I didn't kill anyone.
Right, because she's basically an arms dealer.
Yeah.
Right? She's not the one pulling the trigger. She's just
her daughter,
providing
on the other hand. Her Geronima, on the other hand, fuck. Geronima straight up, she's like, yeah, I've given this liquid to more people than I have hair on my head.
See, all right. I think I might know how her mom, how Julia's mom got caught. Every man in Palermo is dead. Yeah.
We're in Rome at this point.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But no, it's so in my I read like 8 different versions of the story. And then I listened to one that was like exceptionally theatrical.
Oh, sure, yeah.
It was quite good. I can give you the link to it if you want to listen to it.
I love this gossip column shit. Is so wild. Here's how crazy, because like I want to give some context to the belief of the time.
Mm.
I have a diary of a guy, and like it's reprinted. Obviously, it's not first edition.
Oh, Jesus.
It's
You have a 500-year-old book in Italian?
no. If I listen, I wouldn't be living in an apartment if I did. There's, but I've
The
got
oldest book in my collection is like 80 years old.
man. I've got this reprint that I got from a bookstore. It's like a world's greatest literature or whatever. But it's a guy's diary in Italy in like the 1600s.
Oh, perfect.
And he calls his kid over. He's looking at a stove. You know how like you're burning wood and a little ember starts to like move around like a worm?
Uh-huh.
So he's telling his kid, look there. It's what does he call it? Oh my God, a salamander, a fire spirit.
Yeah.
Right? He goes, look at that. It's a salamander. And then he smacks his kid. He just slaps the shit out of him. And he does it. This is so interesting to me. He does it so his kid will remember. Because they already knew at that time that a sudden traumatic event locks a memory in. So he's like, look, it's magic. Smack! And smacks the shit out of him. And I share this story with you because people are fucking bonkers sometimes.
Well,
and I'm like,
superstition and like think of the time period. It's the 1600s. People still believe that like the oil. Okay. So part of the reason for Julia's branding of Aqua Tofana, the little bottle with the Saint Nicholas on it, that it's very pretty and it's meant to like sit on a vanity and just kind of be innocuous and like it's just a cosmetic. It drops for my eyes to make them dilate so I can, be more becoming to you, because that's one of the things that they used belladonna for was to manually dilate the eyes to be more seductive or to be more appealing, I guess I should say. Maybe not necessarily seductive, but let's face it.
Yeah, you get your anime eyes on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But one of the reasons that Julia chose her branding, not only Saint Nicholas is like correct. Forgive me, I'm not Catholic, so I'm going off a vague memory here.
Well, let me look it up.
Kind of a commonly believed thing that like his bones exuded some sort of oil that was supposed to be good for like any sort of topical remedy.
He's the patron saint of generosity because he's Santa Claus. So I mean that's part of the lore is so. He's 4th century Bishop of Myra. Is famous for generosity and acts of charity. Yeah, he's because he goes from house to house. Mm-hmm. This is part of the Santa Claus thing. It comes from Saint Nicholas. Yeah, December 6th.
Talk about Christmas coming early.
Yeah, that's why they call him Old Saint Nick.
Yeah,
is because it's based off of Saint Nicholas. Resurrected 3 boys who were murdered and put into a pickling tub. That's terrible. They lived, I guess. He calmed a storm at sea, saving mariners. He secretly provided dowries that's the gifts.
There it is.
Yeah, secretly provided dowries for 3 impoverished sisters by tossing bags of gold through their window over 3 nights. Saving them from being forced into prostitution because they were like poor and I don't see anything about oil, but no, here we go. Once believed to be an oil, the liquid oozing from St. Nicholas's bones in Bari was found by scientists at the University of Bari to be water. In all likelihood, it forms its concentrations due to the tomb's location underground. Okay, so yeah, there's corpse water that flows from St. Nicholas. Don't drink that.
Don't drink that. Don't put it on your wounds. Don't.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I don't remember where I was going with that anymore.
So I think
the branding on the bottle.
The branding on the bottle was because it was like, oh, it's St. Nicholas oil.
Yeah. So the branding on the bottle was essentially made for it to be not only pretty, but to just kind of be overlooked, to blend into the background. Like you could leave it in plain sight and nobody would go, poison.
Yeah, I would think if I saw a bottle with a saint on it and a bottle of oil, I would think it was just like, literally holy oil. Like it was consecrated oil. Some people had, when they couldn't make it to church and stuff, religious praying. People had these cabinets that they would open up and they had like pictures of saints and stuff on
Oh yeah.
And so not that they would use consecrated oil in that, but in general,
this was
icon
also
motif is pretty common in the Catholic world. So like just a perfume bottle or something.
And people in general right now are kind of like susceptible to like snake oil schemes. Like how many saint relics?
Oh, there's whole professions of
Yeah.
guys going around just selling bones and stuff.
Exactly. So, that it kind of makes sense with the branding of it.
Yeah, sure. You got
And
St.
so
Nicholas water.
so to
Aqua de Nicholas.
actually it was there was a secondary name for Aqua Tofana. Give me like 2 seconds to find it on my goddamn notes with my goddamn handwriting. I'm gonna start typing these, I swear. It's like the hand of Saint Nicholas or something like that. It where did I put it? Mana de San Nicola.
Okay, yeah, the hand of Saint Nicholas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And gentle death, blah blah blah. So it's
a gift for you. It's death.
Right.
Like,
it's a gentle death though, so
Yeah,
you can leave me all your money.
Though, now that we've just read the miracles of the acts of Saint Nicholas,
it tracks a
kind
little
of
bit.
Tracks,
Yeah.
of like,
Julia, marketing genius.
yeah. I was like, okay.
So
I'm glad
basically,
we looked that up.
yeah. So to continue on with our story here, Sis gets cold feet, confesses everything, hands over the bottle to the authorities, and then her husband hands her over to the authorities, and she is no more. But in the process of fuck, man, even I am not possessed of a pure enough spirit to give myself up to certain death, like to confess like that.
Yeah, fuck. You got to make that decision before it. If you
Like
put it in, you serve it, you walk out quickly.
Consider like even if you do get cold feet at the very like last possible second, and you slap your husband's bowl of soup out of his hand and be like, I saw a bug, or not, I poisoned it. Don't do don't.
You could make up any number of shit in this time period.
Sis, don't come all the way clean. Don't do that.
I mean, I would straight up in the 1600s smack the bowl and be like, I was,
I was momentarily possessed at you.
Yeah, like
there's the demon leaving my body.
Or straight up, I would straight up say like I was. What's the word I'm looking for here? Driven by the Lord, like something. I would just be like, I felt it was bad, and smack it.
Anything other than I put poison in your soup.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Anyway, so the authorities are now aware of all of this, and they are in possession of the bottle of Aqua Tofana. And some of these authorities realize that they have seen this shit on their wives' counters.
Oh, dude.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah.
So
it's like the modern day, the equivalent of the modern day, like flowers in the garden.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say that word of the flower because it's yeah. I'm not gonna be the arms dealer in this case.
No. So, as the story goes, here again it branches. That was the problem I had with this, is that it kept splitting like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Within itself. So here again it branches. And the path that I chose was maybe the more cinematic of the two, but the servants, having witnessed all of this, and some of them having been helped by Julia, rush to warn her that she's been made.
Plausible.
Right?
Because violence against essentially the helping class, you see it constantly in people's like journals and stuff. If you deep dive journals, if somebody's going to be like essayed, basically,
yeah,
it's usually
going to be one of the servants.
Yeah. So,
as this particular version of the story goes, beloved by the people that she has helped, because like that was a persisting thing throughout all of these veins of story, is that Julia, until the much later versions of it, and when I say much later versions, I mean like 18 something, 17 something, like well after Julia is dead, those are the only versions where Julia becomes the villain of the story. In all of like the early versions of it, Julia helps people. Like she amasses her fortune through, helping wives get rid of their husbands and, through her own business. And she also contributes to the community. Like, she helps with schools. She donates. She helps. Like, she's kind of a paragon of, like, humanitarianism in a weird way. So she becomes a public figure that is very beloved by everyone.
Yeah, imagine if you're like an upstanding guy in town. You don't really worry about this too much.
Yeah. And not only that, she's got a fucking priest on her side, too.
Yeah, which, if that part is true, is radical.
But wait, there's more. So, we'll get there, because what you just said becomes important in just a second. So, beloved by the people, she is forewarned. Basically, there is a rush to get to Julia before the authorities do. And forewarned, Julia goes, oh shit, gig's up. Hold up, I got a plan. So Julia takes her ass off to the church and claims sanctuary.
Okay.
Because that is something that you could do.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, and to a lesser degree, you still can do now, but it's not as effective.
Yeah, it doesn't have the punch that it used to have. And then also, like, in many places, doesn't have any actual legal weight.
But once upon a time, you could walk into a Catholic church and claim sanctuary, and whoever the fuck was after you outside the church could not touch you within the building. Now, there are, if the church goes, no, we don't want anything to do with this, and your sanctuary is essentially declined or revoked, then yeah, you're on your own.
Yeah.
But in the majority of cases, the church would be like, oh shit, yeah, you need help, what's up?
Right.
So Julia gets to the church and claims sanctuary, and once again, this is where the story splits. It was infuriating. Like, watching all of the the scene in Loki where, like, you watch the timeline sort of just into Yggdrasil.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I caught that symbolism, like, early in the series, and I was like, I know what that's doing.
But this is like one of many, many possibilities now, and the real story might be super crazy simple.
Right? That's what I'm betting. But, we're going to take the MCU version of this and run with it. So the story splits here again. And in one version of the story, Julia claims sanctuary. Her priest buddy is like, yeah, no, I got you. You're safe, boo. Here, put this habit on. Congratulations, you're a nun now. And she lives out her life in the church, and she still occasionally deals aqua tofana to those in need. Now aided by her priest taking confessions.
Wild. That's
one version of it. The version that I continued to write down, because once again, let's be dramatic. She is safe in the church. She is accepted. Her sanctuary is granted, as it were, and she's just kind of like, okay, now what do I do? And a rumor gets started. Do you know what this rumor is?
What's that?
This rumor is that Julia Tofana has poisoned the town's water. I know.
Here's a cliff note from me to you listening in the audience. It takes a fuckload of poison to do that. It can only really be accomplished in Flint, Michigan on an industrial scale. Like, it needs to be something natural or industrial needs to happen. Like, there's a smelting mine nearby, and they're dumping a bunch of shit in the water supply, or something like that. Like, the idea that you could possibly take a single vial of anything and poison all the water in a place the size of Rome is insane. Single well, sure. Throw some shit in the water. That'll do it.
Yeah, you can foul up one well.
Yeah, like that's... Yeah, every well? Holy shit.
But because of the rumor and the power of rumors at this particular point in time, the church is forced to give her up, because it's no longer just like the local authorities. It's now like, I don't want to say the papal authorities, but it's
the powers that be have said, like,
All right.
In order to quash a riot, we will now try you.
Basically, yeah, that's what happens. And she is handed over to the authorities because they have no choice now.
Yeah.
And to their shock, like, I'm sure you're well aware of how interrogations and, being questioned by the authorities at this point goes.
Yeah. I read Jan Schmidt's book. Now, granted, that's a whole different area and different custom.
It's also German.
yeah, very, very different place.
But
time.
they're like basically, if you are unfortunate enough to be interrogated by the papal authorities and like you get past the verbal part of it, you're getting tortured.
Yeah, you're 100%. And then the skill of the executioner / torturer, because they're usually the same person, is the skill is discerning what is real.
Yeah.
And from what I've read, some of them were very good at this, where like they could say, no, this is just under duress. They're just saying whatever. And they seem to take an amount of pride in it, which is, it's their job, right? But yeah, you're gonna get some thumb screws, or like, it's not a sentence, it's an interrogation. So like pairs of anguish, not so much. But like,
I hate that I know what that is.
Yeah, but the screws,
you're gonna get some light torture.
Yeah,
like maybe, that's just how it's gonna be.
Maybe even just staying awake for a couple of days.
So they get her in the interrogation room, which I'm sure is probably
a cell.
Yeah, probably just a corner of the dungeon, some dungeon somewhere. Or we could be entirely wrong, and it's just like a corner bedroom in a palace. Like, hey, did you do the thing?
Yeah.
But Julia, like, before they even so much as like get into the interrogation, she admits, yeah, I'm a poisoner. That is my product. I made that. That's Aqua Tofana. Hello, my name is Julia Tofana.
Yeah.
Let me tell you why I did it.
Straight villainous.
Rather than denying it or any of the anything that they like expect from her, she straight up says, yeah, it was me. But all of those men were beating the shit out of their wives. All of those men were financially ruinous. All of like she justifies it to a point where like they sit back with wide eyes and are just like,
jeez,
what do we do with this?
Is she a murderer, or is she the righteous hand of God?
Right? Yeah. Like that's basically
yeah.
That's basically the exact reaction they have of oh fuck.
The executioner's taking notes of like, oh, he was guilty of this crime. Yeah.
What's your formula? Hang on, what? Help me out here.
Because that's another thing we talked about. The lack of ability to divorce, lack of an ability to have like rights.
Yeah.
But in many, many places, if you beat your wife, it was illegal to do so.
Yeah.
So it's not a divorce thing, but you're gonna get roughed up a little bit.
Consider the position of a woman that has been pushed that far.
Yeah.
She is completely under the control of a person that does not give a shit about her. Or like in the case of like financially ruinous, because that was one of the ones that I read, was that this man was literally gambling absolutely everything away.
Yeah.
Or
that ties in with the St. Nicholas thing, and possibly forcing people into debt bondage because of not having any money.
I read a laundry list of reasons that she allegedly gave, like because that was part of the vetting process, was learning the story. Of learning why, and I'm sure that there were people that were turned away, which I didn't like the way he looked at her. Me. Get out.
Yeah, petty bullshit.
Yeah. I personally would like to believe that any instance of the poison being given out was justified, which as far as you can justify taking the life of another person.
Yeah.
But just to remain PC here.
Well, you've gotta imagine. If even one of them's true, then she knows she's gonna die, right?
Yeah.
Like she's been in sanctuary for forever, cloistered probably, and then after that, like she knows she's gonna die. She's really got
She's got nothing to lose.
The only thing that she would lie for is maybe just infamy.
So
but that runs the risk of you not getting, if you're a religious person, and almost everyone is at this time.
Yeah.
So of not getting your last rites.
Oh, which would condemn your soul.
Yeah. So like I would want to not lie. Now, granted, that's like rare. People give last rites to murderers all the time. You know, like that's So like that's but I would want it from all the executioner's diaries and stuff I've ever read, which is not just Jan Smith's, there's a bunch of like unnamed ones.
Mm-hmm.
There's this cool stuff where like people are very, like they talk about the last things that they say. People are very keen to get it off their chest.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is part of their like afterlife process. They want it, whatever they've done. And also, like, I have to imagine that's the right move, right? Like, if you're about to be tortured and you know you're going to die anyway, why hold it in?
Yeah.
Skip the torture.
Yeah.
Unless
Like,
they're going to put you on a wheel and you're a woman, that's probably not going to happen. You know, like the torturous, especially torturous execution.
Yeah. The breaking wheel.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Julia straight up, yeah, I did it. And the authorities in charge of her at that point are like, well, fuck. What do we do? So they take it to the higher ups, and the higher ups are like, oh shit, all right, cool, we got a confession, bet. Make her repent.
She gets away with it?
No. My friend, my brother, no. They are assigned to get penance from her in any way that they can to make her essentially recant her actions before death.
Oh, okay.
Like basically they are tasked to get her to ask forgiveness for the deaths, the 600 deaths of these men scumbag men that she's caused. And they also want all of the information, like they want names, locations, they want all of the names of people that have purchased it and the people working with her. Like basically they want her entire customer and informant ring. And she refuses all of it. They torture her. Like under torture, she does not break. She does not give them names. She never asks for forgiveness. She dies before they get anything out of her.
Well, that's wild.
Oh, that's so badass. It's probably not true, but
you know what? I'd be willing to bet money it's not true. And here's why I say this. If most of the story is true and she's a poisoner, and she's about to get caught,
90% of this.
Bam. She's done.
Yeah,
dude,
right?
She's swallowing a bottle of Hand of St. Nick and fucking beefing it. Dude, she's out. She's out.
110%
She's in the church. She's going to get last rites.
Yeah.
You know, like, she's out. Fuck that. That didn't happen. Unless you see court records. I'm like, nah, man.
Yeah, and there's virtually no record of any of this. Like, this is what I'm telling you now is the amalgamation of about 4 different versions of this that I have kind of pieced together for historical plausibility.
Yeah.
As it were. Because I 100% agree with you. She is a poison genius. She is quintessentially an alchemist.
Yeah, if she...
Nah. The second that they were, like, remanding her over into the authorities, I'd have looked at my priest buddy and been like, see you the next time round. Gulp.
Yeah. I imagine a lot of the stuff that was written after her death was very, very similar to, like, Jack the Ripper. Where, like, all the murders in that area of London got attributed to one guy, and it's, like, literally fucking impossible. Like,
Julia's story does this incredible thing. Like there's a little bit more to it. Like she's dead, and like she's basically hung out like a banner as a sort of warning against any wife stepping out of their place. Blah 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 blah. And then there's like this crazy witch hunt through Rome to find Aqua Tofana. And like it's used kind of as an excuse to like off people that are the women specifically that are a little too outspoken, a little too powerful.
Yeah.
But so I forgot where I was going with that. Her story changes. I remembered. It's there is what little historical evidence I could find of there was a poisoner who was helping people, and then they just kind of vanished. And one of the versions of the end of her story is basically she escapes Rome and, like, you know, fucks off probably back to Palermo. I don't know. And, like, lives her life peacefully and dies of old age. That's one version of it. And there is the fantastic version that I just told you, where, like, the authorities basically go, tell us everything, and she goes, no, and they kill her. But there is someone that I can find in history, and that is her daughter, Geronima. Geronima survives all of this somehow, thanks to either because she's never implicated or because of her mother's specific silence. Geronima escapes. And she escapes and continues her mother's business.
Jesus Christ. God damn. Just for those who are, like, keeping track, her fucking KD is 1/600.
Oh, right?
God damn. Or rather 601. She's killed, like,
allegedly.
If she's killed 50 people, that's fucking crazy.
600.
Yeah, it was like...
in a time period where it was joked about that if a wife was unhappy with her husband, she could just kill him.
Yeah.
Why were any of these men misbehaving? Why? If it was a social joke,
yeah,
where if you pissed your wife off, she could poison you.
I imagine...
what are you doing?
I imagine it's like the hot grease thing, though. Like, people say that, and it rarely ever happens.
I guess.
So, like... I mean, women...
maybe I'm just a little too literal here, but...
yeah. Women's shelters are filled full of women that never took the hot grease option. You know what I mean? Like,
I know.
It's sometimes scary or dangerous or, you know, whatever, and you don't feel like that's an option for you.
I also kind of understand, like, that particular option because, you know, I have a lot of pharmaceutical knowledge rattling around in my head.
Yeah.
I could be a problem real easy. That said, my moral compass, on the other hand, is straight up Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
And it irritates me to no end.
Jeez. Yeah.
Because I always want to believe the best in a person.
You know.
But, however, you piss me off.
Full Mau. Yeah.
Decaf forever.
Yeah.
Decaf and full lactose milk.
Yours would be you'd be Aqua de Catherine, and it would be Saint Olga.
Aqua de Caterina.
Yeah.
de Saint Olga. Anyway.
Oh man. You know what though? I hope that the court part, I kind of hope the court part happened where, like, she's being questioned.
Yeah.
Because it must have been so jarring for somebody to hear of just like, yes, and it's because you're horrible.
Yeah.
All of you are horrible and you've been felled by a bunch of quiet housewives.
Mm-hmm.
But I would have loved to see the look on everyone's faces where she's just like, 600 people is fucking crazy.
Yes.
Like,
I absolutely did it. And here's why.
Yeah.
And it's just...
It's the Samuel L. Jackson moment where he's like, yes, I killed him and I hope he burns in hell.
Yeah.
You know, like, and everybody's like, whoa. Yeah, like that's... Not
only the lack of remorse, but the justification of it, and like the rightful justification of it, because like in the 4 different versions of this particular version of it, I could not find a single one where it was even kind of hinted at that like the court was like, oh no, never, no, nah. It was just like people going, oh yeah. Like that guy in particular was an asshole.
Amazing.
So yeah. So Julia, unfortunately, dies. She's tried, she's convicted, she's executed. Whether it was via torture or like whatever Baroque version of making an example out of people was, she dies. Her daughter Geronima escapes. Her daughter Geronima continues her mother's work for the next 9 years before she too is ousted by someone trying to save their own fucking skin.
Yeah.
And Geronima, much like her mother, absolutely confesses. Like, yes, I did it. I gave this liquid to more people than there are hairs on my head, she is quoted as saying. Now, once again, don't know if that's true or not, or historically accurate, but it's in my notes, and it was in everything that I read. So in 1659, the secret formula of aqua tofana is lost. However, aqua tofana continues in history in, like, absolute sheer poison or infamy. And it like, you see it randomly pop up. Like, I think it was Mozart. One of the big dog composers, like, basically falls ill and he knows he's not going to make it. And he's like, I have befallen aqua tofana.
Yeah, that tracks for Amadeus, actually.
Yeah, he was drama queen.
Quite dramatic. Yeah. It's like I almost made we said big dog, I almost made a Beethoven joke, but I was like, no, because Beethoven would have told you to go fuck yourself. And then he died. He was kind of cranky.
Beethoven had the best hair. So yeah, that is one of the stories of aqua tofana. And I say that because there are so many versions out there.
Oh man.
Like, tracking this down, tracking any version of any singular line of this story down was infuriating.
Oh, I imagine aqua tofana becomes almost like the La Llorona of its day.
Exactly.
Right? It's just like
that's
somebody
exactly
disappeared.
what it is.
Well, it must have been the go. You know, like this.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I mean, it's like,
600.
That's wild.
600.
I get, like, even if it's 50.
I know.
Crazy numbers for a killer.
That was one of my early indicators, like, oh, this is folklore.
Yeah, it was just like, that's crazy numbers for a mob boss, which is kind of what she's doing, right? She's got a little ring of guys.
Yeah. Like, she had her little ring of organized little birdies. If we want to take a little Game of Thrones journey on that one.
That's fucking yeah.
So yeah, that was aqua tofana. And, like, I remember watching Bailey Sarian's not version of this, but her video of this several years ago, and going, what? Why do I not know about that? Because this is, like, right up my alley. And so, like, I joke about aqua tofana all the time. Like, I'm sure you've heard me, like,
yeah.
At some point, at any point, many times.
Yeah, like, I knew aqua tofana existed, that it was a poison, and then because of a Drunk History episode, I knew a little bit of it. I didn't know it was like that. 3 generations of poison.
3 generations.
Like, at this point, it's a fucking, like, it's a legit, like, she's a fucking...
Talk about grandma's secret recipe, right?
Oh, shit. I mean, can you imagine? She's teaching it to her daughters, like, I'm going to teach you just how grandma used to make it. And it's like a fucking super deadly poison. Not oatmeal cookies or anything. That's fucking wild, dude.
Yeah. So, like, I'm 100% sure that, like, maybe 20% of that was true. The rest of it is absolutely just myth and folklore, but consider it all that, 3 women from, like, the late 1500s, the early 1600s were attached to a legend like that.
You know what struck me the moment you said, like, more bottles than there are hairs on my head?
So good, right?
I can see someone saying that for this reason. You're captured. Your, like, modus operandi is, I'm doing a crime to make men act right.
I'm doing a crime.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm selling drugs, but, like, if you say that in inquiry, it's going to be in the town criers, everybody's going to know about it, right? And your whole thing is, I'm helping women with bad men.
Yeah,
right?
I'm helping women survive this.
Yeah. If you say that shit, every man in the city is gonna fucking watch his ass.
Every man in the city is suddenly terrified that his wife may be
Yeah.
one of those pretty vials on his wife's vanity, or, that vial sitting on your little home altar thing
Yeah.
that maybe isn't, Saint bone oil.
Yeah. But your ass, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
your ass is acting so right.
Yeah.
You've never been so nice to your wife.
No joke, because I'm sure a lot of these men went home and ransacked their fucking house.
Oh yeah, like I said, so part
Yeah.
of the thing that's true about this for sure is that there was a sweep in Rome in like the mid 1600s looking for X poison. And like, I'm not even kidding when I say this, like women that had become like public figures or a little too outspoken or a little too powerful,
Yeah.
axed as poisoners.
Sure. Yeah. It's a literal witch hunt. You
Yeah.
know, like dude. Yeah.
Emily's home.
She's snoring.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But, I love stories like this because it's amazing to see how much power a person can wield.
It became, I'm presuming at some point after it happened, if it happened to this extent at all, it became something of a moralistic tale.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Like the villain wouldn't even become the villain at that point until like the 1800s.
Sure.
Or,
I mean,
like-
it kind of smacks of like things you tell your kids, right? Like, say your prayers, eat your dinner, or like the fucking devil's gonna get you.
Yeah, the boogeyman.
Right. The devil in this case is Aqua Tofana, somebody's gonna fucking poison you.
Yeah. Like, and
Yeah.
I read one of the versions where Julia is the villain, where she is painted as a villainous person. And it
doesn't have any like actual motives behind it, right?
yeah, it was just a story. Whereas like any of the other versions, like as close to, once again, historically plausible as I could get, I get this. I can see the evolution of decisions here.
Yeah.
And like it tracks because more often than not, your village wise woman, your village herbalist was a woman that had extensive knowledge on things like don't drink that could kill you.
Yeah.
Don't use too much of that, it could kill you.
Yeah, and a little less. It's funny because you mentioned guys that like sold saint relics and stuff.
Yeah.
One of the industries that was very lucrative in that time period was merchants selling what are like panaceas.
Mm-hmm.
And so they would go around and they would find a bezoar.
I that is so creepy when we do that. I was literally thinking bezoars.
And
like, though I thought the word and you said it immediately.
Yeah, and they would get like a narwhal tusk, and they would say like, "Well, this is from a unicorn horn, right?"
Yeah,
and all that kind of stuff because they just wash up on beaches and shit.
Yeah,
they would cut them down so they would have like 30 of them and sell them, and so you get that kind of shit, and I imagine like your local herbalist is probably so much better than a lot of these things because like bezoars do nothing. It's like a gallstone,
literally,
a whale,
literally a goat.
A goat, yeah. It's like it doesn't do anything. A narwhal tusk is, I mean, it does one thing: it kills you if you're a sailor standing stupidly close to a boat in the North Atlantic. Like that's just what it. Like,
whereas
it
willow
anything.
bark,
it does do something. It becomes aspirin in your stomach.
Yep.
So like, or in your liver, one of the two. But yeah, a lot of these things do work. I mean, we routinely, I don't know if you routinely drink this anymore. I do.
The bay leaf tea?
The bay leaf tea.
So, yeah.
Fresh root ginger.
Yeah.
Chopped up.
Last week when I had the ear infection, one of the first texts after I texted you, I was like, I can't do it. I'm sorry. You were like, do you need spaghetti tea?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And
no, I just made it.
It's bay leaves. It's fresh ginger, not powdered ginger.
Peppercorns.
And a little palm full of peppercorns.
And I put cloves in
water.
mine just to help with the flavor because the flavor is awful.
Yeah, you simmer it until it turns brown. You drink it. It kind of tastes like spaghetti, and it helps a lot. It drains your ears. It kills a lot of infections.
I genuinely, like, other than, like, the ginger and the bay leaf, I don't know how that shit works. But, like, literally the spaghetti tea, and I will sing its praise. It tastes terrible, but I will sing its effectiveness till the end of my fucking days, because that stuff has literally taken me from, like, I left work, went to the emergency room, agony one day. I drank, Emily came over and brought me, like, one of the little glass mason jars of it.
Yeah, because we'll cook it down until it's, like, dark brown.
Yeah, and I drank maybe about half of that night. And the next morning, I could speak again. Like, let alone all of the inflammation and the horrible agony that was in my, like, upper everything.
Yeah.
Was that gone? But suddenly my voice was back overnight. I don't know how it worked. I don't know why it worked. Other than, like, the ginger and the bay leaf and the honey. Those are the only 3 things that I know for a fact can do a thing.
The peppercorn causes you to cough. It's an expectorant.
Yeah, like,
which is actually in things. If you look at, like, the ingredient list of a lot of expectorant, like, and cough medicine, sometimes pepper is just in them.
That's cool.
So
spaghetti tea works.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
And it's
tastes awful, though.
You look at that kind of stuff and you go, like, well, that must have seemed like forbidden knowledge to some people. And also, like, once you understand that someone who can use plants to also make poison, well, every kitchen witch, or herbalist is, like, kind of suspect.
I know for a fact that in, like, the late 1400s, like early 1500s, there was in England specifically. I can't speak for the rest of everywhere else, but in England specifically, there was a bit of a kind of lynch mob that happened for, like, the village herbalist women.
Yeah, that's even to today, the symbol of this kind of comes from, like, King Charles, I think, era, but the symbol of, like, witches and stuff is basically brewers.
Yeah,
they're just like big cauldron, pointed hat. That they're basically just like old women who are making beer.
Yeah.
There's a lot of theories about, like, essentially witch hunts being instigated to more or less get rid of women who are taking over an industry. And so, like,
my thoughts on that.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, that because you don't see that in cultures that have a little more agency for women. Like, and so, and I don't mean, like, non-European cultures. I mean, like, in Europe, for instance, witch hunts are very rare.
Mm-hmm.
Like, incredibly rare, like, over the hundreds of years, right? They have it in England around the publishing of a book called the Malleus Maleficarum, and then they happen mostly in Puritan America. So, like, they're not super common in Europe. Like, they are in, like, earlier times around, like, the plague, because people are looking for any fucking reason.
I really need to go back and redo my Black Plague episode because I know so much more now.
Yeah, dude. Like, you see, like, the flagellants and all that stuff that's kind of happening around that time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. The story was great. Like, once I finally, like, locked in and stopped having, like, decision paralysis on which version of it I was going on, this was great. It was super entertaining to, like, read and research and, like, see if I could find and connect some dots.
Yeah.
But the problem with this one is that there are literally at least 17 different versions of the story.
Yeah, with no, like, it's like Washington stories, except for you don't have primary documents to tell the true story.
And there aren't any on this at all. Like, I have 3 main characters that have names and dates attached to them.
And that's it.
And that's it. The rest of it is speculation and hearsay.
Tafana wasn't writing any journals down or publishing any
shit. Tafana was trying to, like, survive.
Yeah.
And then didn't. But yeah, so that's Aqua Tafana. So now when I crack the Aqua Tafana joke, you know what I mean.
Dude, that's awesome. I've noticed
apart.
You mentioned earlier that you were like, you have a penchant for talking about, like, women's stories and stuff like that in history. I've noticed a second penchant with you.
What's that?
Throughout these things.
Folklore?
Revenge. Like,
well, I mean,
dramatic revenge killings.
Welcome to one of my core personality traits. It's something that I don't let out of the box very often.
Yeah.
I am so petty and so vengeful.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be perfectly honest. Like, if you believe in the star woo, I'm a triple Virgo. Which means absolutely nothing to you, but but some of our viewers will understand that according to the star charts and hilariously my own actual personality, I am a control freak that holds grudges forever. And I'm one of those people that will just silently walk away.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely fucking true.
Yeah.
And like, not that I so desperately want to impress upon you how much I do not believe in astrology.
I could feel you wanting to say Australia.
I don't believe in Australia at all.
It doesn't exist.
The one poor mook in fucking Australia is like, oi!
Yeah.
Hello? No, two of my favorite people are Australian. Nope, can't talk.
Yep. Two of your favorite people are astrologers.
Two of my favorite people are... God damn!
Yeah.
People. Mommy made me match my M&Ms. Okay. God damn it, my boobs.
You're smacking the shit out of the mic.
So yeah.
Shit.
Aqua Tofana.
Be nice.
Let it be a warning.
Be nice, or the next, at home, the next episode we do, I'm going to tell you that flower.
Fuck, mind
it's
the
found
soup.
in gardens all over America.
Gentlemen, and some ladies, please remember to be kind to your partners if you aren't the one in the kitchen.
Yeah, for real. Hey, this is Brian from Morbid Mondays. If you like the show, please consider stopping by at our Ko-fi account. That's ko-fi/Morbid Mondays. It's $1 a month, or just any one-time tip. And if you would like to help us fund our future endeavors or just want to show a little bit of appreciation, awesome. Thank you so much for listening. And if you don't, whatever. Have a great day. Thank you so much for listening.